it's Lolli and I'm back and we're going to start a sourdough. Okay, I have a big bowl. I have bread flour. I have my sourdough starter right here. This is where the level it was at when I started it, and you want it to double in size. That way you know it's real active. I put a rubber band where it started, and now it's up to here. Okay, and then I have some warm water, and that is pretty much all we need other than a little bit of salt, which I put in a little pestle, and I kind of mushed it around because it says it needs to be kind of fine or flaky for the other bread, so mine is coarse, so we're just gonna crush it a little bit. Or you could probably put it in a grinder. Okay, you also are going to need a scale when you're making sourdough bread. Everything's going to be in grams and milliliters, and so we're going to add our ingredients as we go, and we'll zero it out every time. So I'm going to turn on my scale, and right now it's in grams. I need 120 grams of starter in my bowl. So I'm going to take my bowl, I'm going to put it on here, and I'm going to zero it out. So now when I put whatever in my bowl, it'll come out to the precise weight of the ingredient. So I need 120 grams of, you know what, I'm going to switch bowls. I'm going to use a little bowl for this part. So I'm going to put the little bowl on here. I'll go back to the big bowl. I'm going to zero it out. So now when I put my water and my starter in here, it'll be the way it's supposed to be. Okay, so I'm going to open my starter. It's all nice and bubbly. You can see the bubbles in it. You'll know it's active. It's doubled in size. Okay, so I need 120 grams of starter. So I'm going to grab a spoon just in case I need one. And I'm going to pour my starter in this bowl till it reads 120 grams. And look at that. You can see the holes in it and how it's bubbly, and it looks like Swiss cheese a little bit, I guess, with the holes in it. Okay, I'm almost there. I've got 120. Oh, I got 123. I'm just going to go ahead and scoop a tiny bit out. It doesn't really have to be totally exactly perfect, but you want it as close as you can because sourdough bread's just like that. Okay, mine says 121 grams. We'll stick with that. The recipe says 120, 121. It's not going to hurt anybody. Okay, I'm going to put this on a paper towel. Wash my hands again. Okay, so I have 120 grams in this bowl. Now I'm going to zero it out again because I need to add 310 milliliters of water. So I'm going to change my units on my scale to milliliters so it has 0. Then I have warm water right here, and I need 310 milliliters. So when it gets to 310, I'll stop pouring. Almost there. I'm at 300. 313. Close enough. Okay, I have this wonderful little bread whisk, but it's a bread whisk for making bread. It works really good. Okay, so I'm gonna take it off my scale and I'm gonna mix that together. And it's just easier if you add your starter to the water first and mix it and get it mixed up real good, because if you add it to the flour and then the water, it just kind of becomes like this big clunky glob. Okay, so it's all mixed in real good. Chloe's whining because she wants to go outside, but it's freezing out there. But her pops went outside to the shop and she wants to go. Okay, so I've got that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my big bowl back. I'm gonna set it on the scale and I'm gonna zero it out. And my flour is going to be in grams. So I'm gonna change my units back to grams. Oh, I went too far. Doesn't let you back up. Okay, and it's zeroed out. 0 grams. Okay, on my bread flour, I'm gonna need 500 grams. It's around 4 cups. But we're gonna go ahead and put 500 grams of bread flour in this bowl. I'm gonna move this off to the side so you can see. Okay, so the bowl's empty. I'm zeroed out on grams. And I'm gonna add 187 grams. And I'm gonna keep adding until I come to 500 grams. Like I said, it's around 4 cups. And if you get too much flour, you can always take some out. I need about 50 more grams. Let's go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, I need 100. I'm only at 420, so now I need 80 grams. It's a lot. And I'm gonna make 2 smaller sourdoughs with this because this makes one big giant loaf. So I would rather do 2 smaller ones. I have 2 little Dutch ovens, 2 little cast iron Dutch ovens about this big, and this recipe will make 2 of these. Or I have a large Dutch oven, cast iron Dutch oven, that will make 1 big loaf. But I'm gonna do 2, and I'm gonna share because there's people out there that we need to share with. It's fixing to be the holidays. There's people that might need something that you know of. They might be low on something. They might just need a little help. Or you can give it to a friend or a neighbor, which is probably what I'm going to do. Okay, so I have my 500 grams of bread flour in the bowl. And it says 2 teaspoons of fine sea salt. Well, I have a sea salt grinder. It's coarse, but I'm gonna grind it and I'm gonna put about 2 teaspoons of salt in here. It says 2 teaspoons. Yeah, fine sea salt. So we're gonna guess. There's my salt. You gotta have salt in everything if you want it to have good flavor. Okay, so now that I've got that, that's the only thing I had to measure. So we're gonna shut off our scale. Well, maybe. Okay, it's off. We're gonna set it off to the side. Okay, so I've got my salt and my flour. I've got my great little bread whisk, and I'm going to add my starter and my warm water to this. See, the starter is not all thick anymore. It's watered down, so that's good. Okay, You don't have to add yeast to this because you have a sourdough starter, which is living. It's a living, breathing thing. You can get sour bread starter recipes everywhere. Okay, so we're gonna mix this up. It's gonna turn into a shaggy dough, like our focaccia bread yesterday. So it's not gonna be smooth or anything yet. And this bread is gonna end up sitting in the refrigerator all night, and we'll be baking it in the morning. But right now, we're just starting it. There's several steps to making good sourdough bread. You're gonna mix it till it's just about mixed, but it doesn't have to be perfectly mixed. I'm gonna stick my fingers in here, and I'm going to kind of mix it a little bit with my hands because it's not as wet now. It's still kind of sticky, but it is definitely shaggy. And I will show you what I mean by shaggy here in just a minute. Okay. And remember, if you make this recipe and you can't eat a full loaf, make 2 smaller ones. Or if you don't have 2 smaller dishes, cut in half. Share it with somebody. I'm sure that they would love to have some homemade bread. Everybody likes to have homemade bread. Okay, so I'm going to get this stuff off my fingers real quick, and I'm going to wash my hands, and I'll show you what we're going to do with this dough. Okay, I'm back. Now we are going to cover this with a damp towel, and we're going to let it sit for an hour on the counter. I think I just got flour all over my floor. Okay, I use tea towels. You don't have to, but these sure do come in handy for a lot of things. You can wrap warm bread in them, you know, and put them in a basket. But this recipe is asking for a damp towel, so I'm going to wet this towel. I'm going to lay it over the top, and we're going to let it sit for an hour and let it come to room temperature, which it probably is close now, but we're going to let it sit for an hour. Okay, so I've dampened my towel. You can see it's damp. And I'm just going to lay it over the top here,